Yo, yo, yo. What is up, everybody? Shout out to all the Omnibros watching us, Omnibros live. So, shout out to all the awesome people in the chat. I am the one and only Gabe. Gabe loves 90s comics. Guess what? I love 90s comics. It's kind of a nail on the head. It's a very pinpoint name there. But along with me, my other fellow Omnibro Live co-host is my boy Lou. Lou, say what up to everybody, man.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's a pleasure to be with you guys this Wednesday night, where we're going to talk about some Rocky and whatever else pops into our head along the way.
Oh yeah, you never know what's going to pop up around here while we're doing this show. It's always something fun, something crazy. Speaking of something fun, let's get into the awesome InStockTrades.com ad for us. Everybody, if you're watching this show live or if you're watching this on the rewind, you know what's up. You know about InStockTrades.com. And if you don't, here's what you need to know. It's the best website with the best prices for all your omnibus, hardcovers, trade paperbacks, epic collections, graphic novels, collected editions in general, with the best prices, best packaging, best customer service. InStockTrades.com, who sponsor the show, and they also give us a $50 gift card that we give out to one of you lucky viewers on the last Monday of the month. So make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss out on the last Monday of the month shows for your chance to win that $50 gift card. They also give out free shipping on orders in the United States that are $50 or more. They really love and respect us here. We love and respect them. It's InStockTrades.com. Make sure you join us on Mondays so that you can see what the new titles are that are coming out on a weekly basis, so you can kind of get an idea of what to order on InStockTrades on Tuesdays. That's InStockTrades.com, everybody. Don't pay full price for your collected editions. Be smart. Get a awesome discount up to 50%, sometimes more with that 2% discount. So always check out InStockTrades.com. All right. So who's a fan of Rocky Balboa, everybody? We'll be talking about Rocky Balboa movies, the Rocky movies. We're even going to include Creed in the franchise as well. We'll see what that, because these rankings have been fun. We did M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong randomly last week.
Was it last week?
That was last week. Yeah, just randomly. It was just I popped in after work, and then you guys were talking about something. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, M. Night Shyamalan. These movies are great," but then at one point they fall off, and then we just kind of got into it.
Yeah. It's funny because the next day I ended up binging like 3 of his movies back to back because I was like, "Fuck, man, yeah, this guy's got some good movies,
dude." There's some major bangers on there, and my Apple TV through my phone is definitely listening to me.
Yeah, I know,
because the moment I logged into Apple TV, it was all M. Night Shyamalan movies as like the recommendations. And
I got the same thing too, bro. I got this, and that's what really I'm sitting down. I'm like, fuck it, yeah, let's just put on. So I put on Sixth Sense, then I watched Signs, and then I watched The Village like back to back to back. And I was like, you know what, these are good movies.
So you like The Village? Because I remember before you're like, I don't remember it that well.
I like the what impressed me the most about The Village is the cast. The cast in that movie is deep.
Oh, I don't even remember who's in it.
Oh, I don't remember the cast. It is a who's who of like future stars in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm about to look that up and double check. I forgot. I don't remember who was in it. Yeah, it was just one of those things where it was just a bunch of like Amish people, so it wasn't really much of a thing. But there's some weird stuff in that movie, dude.
Oh yeah.
It's weird. It's great though. That was like one of the last really good ones I think that came from him. Signs. No, I think Signs might have been. No, was Signs after or before?
That is a good question.
Because it wasn't until The Happening when things just kind of went downhill. That movie was ridiculous.
Yeah, it kind of fell off for him after that. It's shit. Let me see.
Shout out to Lionheart, who he watches somewhat good condition on his TV, and then watches Omnibros, watches us on his phone. So he's doubling it up. doubling it up. Is Omar on right now?
He probably is.
Are we butting heads against fine minus condition?
I think we usually are around this time. I think we're always kind of up against him around this time.
Oh, very cool. Very cool to see everybody here hanging out to talk about Rocky and comic books in general. New comic book day today. Did you pick up your Steve Orlando Scarlet Witch yet?
You want to know something? I have that book actually downloaded on my tablet, but I cannot bring myself to kind of sit down and read it, even though I've heard, the word online.
You should do it.
The word online is this one is not that bad. He's got a pretty good story going on in that first issue, So we'll see what happens. I mean,
we'll see. The art on the cover was nice. I think there was like a Russell Dodman cover or something. I was like, oh, that's cool. But
yeah, Sarah Pacelli does the interiors. Sarah Pacelli's
that's a good art team, man. That's a solid art team. Yeah, I don't know so much about the writing, but whatever.
Have you ever read?
I haven't read anything Steve Orlando.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by I don't know. I literally don't know. I know you and Jess feel a certain way. But I don't know about the chat. But yeah, I have no opinion on the guy. I mean, you keep seeing Steve Orlando. I keep thinking of the guy that colored Akira. What's his name? Orlando? No. Either way, I keep thinking of him. I'm like, no, that's not him. That's not the Akira guy. That's not the guy from Ollie Optics. Yeah.
Now you have said that you've kind of you've fallen off a little bit towards modern comics. What was the breaking point for you? That kind of you're like, I'm just not feeling this as much.
I think it's just from working in comic book stores for so much time that it kind of how the sausage is made, and it's all about about how the ordering is and what you need to do to sell, and trying to read nonsense books to kind of stay caught up to things. But for me, it was just like, again, like even working in a comic book store, you hear what people like and what they read, and all anybody ever talked about, and it's still even today, like not even in stores, but like online, it's always like, and people are always asking for, the focus is always on variants and variants and variants. Did you get that cover? Did you see that cover? That cover's so cool. I want that cover this, cover that, cover that, exclusive cover, store exclusive this, convention exclusive cover that. And it's like, well, what tell me about the story. Like, what is it that you like about it? I'm just getting covers. It's always covers. So I always try to keep my ear to the ground of like what people are liking and try and follow that. And then there's just nothing that's grabbing people and like that is like the must read book to read since like Hickman took over X-Men. That was just a signal flare in the sky, and everybody started coming back in X-Men. It was all X-Men. Oh, this happened. Oh my God, they died, and they were able to do these resurrections, and Professor X and Forge is making all these backups of people's personas so they can just kill them and bring them back. And it was really cool and it was really interesting. And Madeline Pryor. What's Homegirl's name? Professor X's girlfriend at one point.
Oh, I know the huge reveal.
Yeah, the big reveal how that she was a mutant forever or whatever.
Yeah,
right. And she has all these like has these like resurrection powers or whatever. Every time she see her whole life, remember her previous lives and stuff like that, right? Moira McTaggart. There we go. He made Moira McTaggart cool, and like, oh wow, that's impossible to do, but he made Moira McTaggart cool, and that was kind of the last time I really got into something fun. And it's just nothing has ever been like this communal discussion about what's going on in the books. I hear a lot of good stuff about like something's killing the children, once in future and things like that, or even Chip Zdarsky's work on Batman and his work on Daredevil. And I'm going to try and pick that kind of stuff up, but I don't hear much. I don't know what it is to really read, especially being like a trade waiter and a omnibus kind of collector and graphic novel kind of thing, right? Yeah. So it's one of those things where I just don't know what to read. Like, what's good? Nothing's really kind of standing out. There's nothing that's really, moving the needle or bringing people into the hobby or anything like that.
Does the vibe kind of feel like something out of the 90s where a lot of people were just focusing on variants? Obviously not as bad, because it's not like you've got the Death of Superman where literally people are lining up inside of a mall and it wraps around the entire mall to get a new
There wasn't really variant in the 90s though. They did like gimmicky covers and stuff like, X-Force #1 had, 5 different cards, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Or X-Men #1 that had 5 different covers, and that's really was about it. And they did some things here and there, where they might have done like a holofoil cover or a die cut cover or something, but that was the only cover. That was the book. It
Yeah.
wasn't the idea of, oh, we're going to do 5 different covers or 10 different covers, or even nowadays where it's like 35 different covers. Oh, and that's just those covers, not counting how they roll out exclusive variants to stores and let stores have their own copies and stuff like that. And it just became way too much. It's way too much. I don't want to hold books. I don't really want to hold much like long boxes and short boxes and stuff like that, more of things. So
yeah,
I'll buy the stuff that sounds good. Like I do want to check out Tom Taylor. You keep telling me about the Deceased Zombies, or even like the Nightwing series is supposed to be really cool. So stuff like that.
yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, but I've been on a major '90s comic book buying kick recently again.
Shit.
So I'll be getting some fun stuff in, hopefully, that nobody will care about but me.
Did you have the black bag Superman?
Of course, I have one now. Yeah,
my man.
So I remember when the Death of Superman happened. I remember I went to the comic book store I went to that was down the street from my house.
Yeah,
and it was I went the day of. It was I think it was November. I don't remember, but there was a line wrapped around not just the building that has the suite that had the comic book store in it, but the entire building, like the entire suite. It was wrapped, and I waited in that line. Got up, got into the store, and it wrapped around into the store and in and out the aisles, and it got up to the register, and I could hear the cashier calling people, going, "Hey, your order for Superman, the black bag is in. Come get it." And he was just doing that like 100 different times. So I go up to the counter. I go, "Yeah, I want one of the black bags." I'm like 12. And they're like, "The black bags was only for people who had pull boxes and who pre-ordered it, so we can get you the regular cover." So I had that regular cover up until probably like 10 years ago. I had that regular cover.
Still got it sealed, huh? Black bag. And
I haven't sealed. I've had one that's opened because there's some dope stuff in that thing. There's like a newspaper in there. There's a black armband. There's like a trading card. And the really cool part is this fucking huge fold out poster. And it's just all the DC characters, all the Justice League characters holding. They're all like pallbearing Superman's caskets. Awesome.
Yeah. I think the industry in general is just kind of poised for a big moment like that to happen again. Like, I think you're spot on that the last big one was that Hickman X-Men run where it was like the entire comic book online and industry was like reading it collectively, and every single issue was a big thing where it was like trying to dissect even the smallest things to see what Hickman was doing and stuff like that. I think we're due for something like that. Where is it going to come from? Who knows? Who's going to write it and all that other stuff? Maybe Tom Taylor, because he seems to be a very talented go-to guy right now. But I think we really need one of those. And I think, I've said it before, but I think if anything, Marvel is poised for a reboot. I would love for Marvel to finally just bite the bullet and do the New 52. Because I think if they did, I think that would sell like fucking gangbusters if they ended up going, okay, we're restarting the entire line, kind of like what they did with the New 52. We're not doing this Marvel Now thing where, they tried it and they were like, well, it's not, technically we're starting over, but we're not really,
Yeah. And then they came back and did the numbering again, and DC restarted like 3 times since then. I can understand how people would want them to do that because that's a fun like starting point. Because that was really great about DC. Like that New 52 starting point was fantastic. And then it didn't matter anymore. 5 years later or something like that. Right? Shout out to Lionheart. November 18th, 1992 was that date. I was at that comic book store. I was when the Death of Superman came out. And Tasty Melon, I remember those Return of Superman pogs. I'm sure I probably had a few of those at one time. Yeah, man. There's no must-read book. And then again, it's like, do I really want to just start storing all these boxes? Because, I moved not too long, a couple years ago, and then just recently moved. And it's just every time I move, like, God, everything here is just, all this is just, it's literally like, who owns what? Do I own these comics or do they own me? And they just sit around all day and I get to just kind of lug them around every couple of years when I move or something. Right. So do I really want to add more to that? I'd rather just read the stuff that people tell me it's good. Hopefully it's good. I can follow it that way. I don't need to read everything. I don't need to, like I used to. And I'd rather just kind of focus more on high grade key issues, CGC books, pressing out books, some pre-code horror, pre-code crime stuff, maybe things like that. I'd rather focus on more historical comics than oh look, Spider-Gwen. Oh no, she's now Ghost Spider. I don't care.
Yeah, you seem like you're at the point where you're just like, I just want my key issues, a lot of and the important stuff that I think is super fun. That's what I want.
Nightwing's a must read, according to Tasty Melon. I believe it. People have been saying that those last 2 hardcovers or whatever that came out were really good. Immortal Hulk was another good one recently, and Donny Cates' Venom to a certain extent. So there was some really good stuff, and I've read that stuff. Yeah, but I just don't want to be I don't want to have to have a pull box. I don't want to have to order from DCBS. Deal with I have no problem. I've been ordering with DCBS since like 2007 or something like that, right? So I don't mind it. I just and then time's a factor, man. It's hard to read. For me, it's hard to read books. I read them at work in between projects and tasks. And if it's too busy, like it's been the last couple of weeks, I don't have time to read. I don't have time to watch Batman Beyond like we've been trying to do. So it's you can always make more money. But you can never make more time or more effort.
Yeah, it's true.
So
it's very true. That's something that that's something that as I'm getting older, I'm learning a lot more and stuff like that. And space is a big thing. I mean, look, I respect the long box guys. I think it's awesome that you have the space and stuff like that. Some of you don't have the space, but you make it work anyway. But man, just walking into the have you ever been to a comic book shop where it's clearly unkept?
Oh yeah,
it smells just disgusting. The minute you walk in there, there's cats and shit walking all over.
Oh yeah, there's 1 or 2 in town that are like that, and those are cool. Like if I don't have the patience, because again, it's time and stuff like that.
None of it's organized.
Oh yeah,
none of it is fucking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't have the time or the patience to dig through random dollar bins or just like these disorganized long boxes to find stuff. I do something, I'll flick through it real fast because I'm pretty good at seeing what I need and what things that stand out for me.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a time factor. So it's like, do I really want to spend 30 minutes digging through like these 40 long boxes that's all just kind of tussled together and everything's fairly damaged in it more than likely, or do I want to spend $200 and buy that back issue on the back wall that I could probably press up and get more out of it or something?
Oh my god! And the most annoying long box hunter is the one that's going like this, like just slowly going through every single.
No way, dude. Forget that guy. It's like being stuck behind somebody driving. I just cut off. I just cut in front of him. Like he might be going like, and I'll just go around him. I don't care. I'll just go. Nope. Yes. No. And then move on. I'm like, screw this. I hate that.
After a while doing this, you develop kind of like a technique. You're just speeding through.
Yeah, especially like buying collections and having to flick through collections and see what's good and stuff like. Yeah. So I got like a method and I got some like muscle memory and that kind of thing about it, and it's fun. But do I really want to do that, or like I said, do I just want to just drop the money on a fairly nice key book and just move on? Right. So
that's one thing that I'm kind of, because so in Orlando where I'm originally from, we have Coliseum of Comics. It's a chain. It's a local chain. They've got a few stores and stuff like that, and everything is clean, everything looks good and stuff like that. But since I've moved down here to Miami, I'm looking at my local shops and I'm like, that place looks tiny. They probably don't have anything here. And then I look at the reviews and they're like, yeah, it's a good store, but they don't really have much and stuff. So I still haven't found a good local shop here. Yeah. Because even though I don't collect really physical editions anymore, I still would enjoy going through and walking through all of them.
Yeah, it's because most stores, again, it's that variant game, and it's really hard to play that variant game. You can either, you can make good money and run your business, or you can fuck up and crush your business easily.
Yeah.
So a lot of these businesses or these comic book stores, it's hard to find one that is strictly comic books. Okay. It's a lot of Pokemon cards. It's a lot of Pops. It's a lot of Magic the Gathering and comic books, so it's like trying to find a shop where you can talk to somebody or somewhere that you want to call home. Cause that's what comic book shops used to be. It used to be like that tree house, that clubhouse kind of thing, right? Where you go there, you kind of hang out, sure, you might buy your books, but you don't just walk out the door. You chit chat with people for a while. You might sit down and flick through the book. You buy your stuff, and you keep, window shopping or whatever. It's hard to find a shop for me that's like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, because it's that again. That's one of the things that I loved about the comic shop that I used to attend to in Orlando, which was Coliseum, is that they were smart enough where it's like, okay, these are your back issues bin. We've got a whole wall dedicated to the new releases. You've got the DC stuff, Marvel stuff here, but we've also got a night where they're doing Magic the Gathering, or they're doing Pokemon night, or they even have a Warhammer table set up, and that was always awesome because I used to like playing Warhammer, and I used to like collecting Magic and stuff like that. And it was always really cool for them to, from the jump, it seemed like they were a little bit ahead because it used to just be about comics, and it seemed like once they got into a bigger space, when they moved out, they were like, no, we have to expand. We have to include other things other than comics, or else we're not gonna make it.
Right. And that's the thing. They supplement the income with other stuff sometimes. So, it's like, the gaming pays for the overhead and the comics are, the gravy or something like that. Usually.
Yeah.
So even like Torpedo has been more like, I went there not too long ago and it was like, oh, it's a lot of tchotchkes and like other kind of random stuff, not comic books. It's very a little more inventory. And I get it. It's all about making money. Oh, this sells, and let's sell it. Sell pogs, sell shoes, or sell graded video games. Whatever can come through that can move out. Right. That's how it is. But I rather. The only place out here that's like a true comic book store for me is this place that's like this random comic book booth at like the indoor swap meet.
Yeah, you told me about this guy.
Yeah, so that's like the only place where I go, oh, this is like, it's all comics. It's not the comics. I mean, the guy sells like his wife's little like tchotchke things, and there's like toys and Hot Wheels, but it's 99% comic books, and it's all back issues. There's no new books or anything like that. So that's fun to find.
And I think gone are the days where you could go to a flea market over the weekend and you can find some fucking amazing deals.
That used to be fun.
In those bins and stuff like that, where even the guy selling it doesn't realize what he's got on hand.
And that's not just comics. Like, people know about video game prices now. I go to the swap meet and it's like, oh, they know that's a $200 game. Damn it, kind of thing. So
the game has changed, man. Because we used to be able to go when I was a teenager. It'd be like, okay, we're gonna go to the flea market on the weekends. We know the vendors we could hit up. We could take a look at what they've got, their inventory. And maybe every once in a blue moon, you pick up a key issue and you're like, man, I got a steal of a price on that. Now, fuck that. No. They're selling them sometimes more expensive than online.
Yeah. All places are asking top dollar and stuff, So, yeah, it's hard to find a place that's where it's fun, because it's fun to find a comic book that's, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I found a $3,000 comic book for $5. No, it's like, oh, I found a $15 comic book for, $6. Cool. Nothing's crazy, or oh, I made out like a bandit, I'm gonna flip this book and buy a new car, not like that. But it's like, if I could find $100 comic book for like, I found this $100 comic book for like $50, cool, or $20, that's cool, that's fun, that's that's exciting to do. But nowadays it's because everybody has the internet in their pocket, right? At any time they go, that's a $45 book. It's easy to price books these days, because it used to be you would get the Wizard magazine or the Overstreet price guide, and that came out once a year, so prices were fairly the same price for like an entire year. And that comic book booth at the indoor swap meet, that guy uses the price guide too. He uses the Overstreet. I'm like, that's so outdated. Yeah, you want to put $5 on that book? Yeah, that's a $20 book. I'll take that from you. No problem, bro. Things like that, right? So it used to be, it was that or Wizard, but now it's like, it's eBay or it's Whatnot or whatever, right? So it's and it's weird because stores aren't trying to compete with the online. They're trying to match or even overprice the online a lot of times. It's like, come on, man, like, this, what's going on here? Okay, this isn't the place for me.
Yeah, and part of me kind of wishes they would bring some of that stuff back. I know, in this digital age, like, I would love if Wizard came back and it was not even necessarily a website or anything, but even like they send you an email every week or something like that of like, hey, these are the new releases, or here's an interview with Tom King or something like that. Something like that.
And everybody's trying to beat a new price guide. There's like 3 apps. You got like Key Collector and Cover Price. And you got all these places where it's like you can just look up the prices all day long and stuff too. And it's changes. So it's these places can just keep changing the prices over and over and over again, or they don't. They price it once, overpriced, and it's like, dude, that was $45 like 2 years ago. That's a $3 book now. What are you doing? Stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and I think there is a place that if Wizard were to come back and they'd be like, look, give us $5 a month, kind of like the Patreon thing, and every single week you will receive in your inbox, on a mailing list or something like that. You'll get an interview with so and so, and you'll get our recommendations for the week and stuff like that. I think it could work. Honestly, you just have to keep the overhead down, obviously, and you have to understand what the audience is.
There could be an app, like Key Collector or something like that, but have articles and have interviews and have video. This is all copyrighted Omnibroslive LLC, okay? Because this is all our ideas. So we need to come up with an app like that, but it'll be more about like omnibuses and collected editions or something. But I think that's something that would be useful. Is more of like, yeah, you can tell me the prices. That's great, but can you also give me articles? Can you educate me? Because Wizard educated a lot. So things like that as well.
Yeah, I miss it. I miss Wizard magazine, and I miss all that stuff. I think it was really cool.
So our boy Lionheart got all 5 Spawn slipcase hardcovers. Good luck with that, man. I hope you enjoy reading them. Art's fantastic. The story is what the story is. There's some good stuff. I mean, Alan Moore wrote an issue. Frank Miller, Neil Gaiman wrote a couple issues. There's some fun stuff in Spawn. It's not the best quality, but I think if you like that 90s stuff and you're a Todd McFarlane fan, I have the first 2 compendiums. I need to get the other ones. So I mean, I like that stuff too. I like it, but I don't think it's great. It's not great.
Yeah.
Phenomenal stuff, but the art's fun, the story or the world building and stuff like that's fun. So yeah. Especially like once you get into like Greg Capullo art, forget about it. Like I think that was like issue like 26, I think was like when Capullo took over. And then from there it just skyrocketed art wise. And then it took a dip when Capullo left, and there's some random artists and stuff going on with it.
Yeah, here's the thing with Spawn is, and it's kind of funny because Todd McFarlane didn't write too much of Spawn. Hell, he really didn't draw too much of Spawn either in the grand scheme of things.
Not really. I mean, Spawn or McFarlane in general has done very little in the scheme of things in terms of like output, whether it's art or writing, like very little compared to like someone like Jack Kirby or someone like Rob Liefeld or, even Dan Mora or Ryan Otley and people like that today, Yeah. So things like that. But it's good. You know what? Fuck it. Just go watch the goddamn HBO series and be done with it. That's the best thing that's ever came out of Spawn. Nothing can top that. The movie can't top it. The comic books can't top it. Nothing tops it.
Keith David is Spawn.
Yes.
Come on, man. Like, you can't beat it. Yeah. Yeah. And I've said this before. I respect Todd as a businessman more than anything else, because I think he's been extremely smart with how he runs his business and stuff. He caught a little bit of shit. I think it was like 2 years ago or something like that. Because he says, I'm paraphrasing, it was something along the lines of, he really doesn't design toys and stuff like that for girls because the majority of the people that buy toys are boys. And he caught shit and stuff like that. People were like, oh my God, that's sexist and stuff like that. I'm like, the motherfucker's been selling toys since
longer than you've been alive, motherfuckers. Yeah.
Since the 90s, and successful. So
I'm changed the toy market.
I'm going to listen to what Todd McFarlane has to say on the business of toys versus some rando on the internet.
Do girls play with toys? Sure. But is it a large market? Not at all. Not at all. And most of those, he's right. Most of those female toys, he knows. I'm sure he sees the sales records and the spreadsheets and all that nonsense. And even when I go to the toy stores, it's like, oh, look, there's all those Jane Foster Thors or all those Miss Marvels. It's just pegwarming,
Yeah.
So, I get it. And, he changed the toy market. He changed it, dude. Like, he made it where it's like I could do these toys with better articulation and better sculpts.
Mm.
And you realize like it only costs like a couple extra cents per
Mhm.
figure to make it look better. So you get charged an extra 3 cents a figure, and you raise the price of the figure $3 or something like that, right? So
Yep.
I love his stuff, dude. Yeah.
Did you end up getting that Kickstarter yet from the Spawn?
Oh, I got that a long time ago. Yeah, I got all 3 of those Spawn, awesome Spawn Kickstarter figures. Those things are sweet. I'm hoping for another one. So, apparently, the next one's supposed to be Medieval Spawn.
Oh,
So
I love that.
I don't know if I'm going to drop like $300 to get like the 3 versions of it or something like that, like you did with the first one, because I don't have that. I don't have those Trump bucks anymore. Like when that first came out.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was a Trump bucks buy right there. Thank you.
I might drop 300 on something like that.
Well, what's shoes cost? Because I know you're pretty big into shoes, right?
It varies.
Jordans and stuff. Yeah.
It varies.
So, all right. So enough of that. What do we got here? Let's get into ranking the Rocky movies. Let's see.
Sounds good.
Yeah, my neighbor's car is loud. What the hell was that full up to? All right. So everybody, let's take a look here. Here we go. I might need to blow this up a little bit. It's a little tiny whiny. There we go. Nice. All right. So we had such a good time. I liked how people really reacted to doing the ranking of the directors' movies. So I think that's cool. I think again, people put some comments after the video's over on what you want to see us rank. I would love to do Fast and the Furious, but like I said, I think I might just take some time to watch some of those movies because I don't remember the difference between what happened in Fast and Furious 5 and Fast and Furious 8. Like I don't know the difference, right?
Yeah.
So to be able to rank those up, but yeah, I think that'd be fun to do some more stuff like this. So
yeah, after a while, those kind of bleed into each other.
Dude, it's like life.
Jesus, yeah.
Like one day you're driving a 1999 Honda Civic stealing stereos, and then now you're driving a 1965 Fiera in the space. So yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some Rocky. I guess we should just do it just Rocky 1 and then all the way down. And this is also going to include the Creed movies too, Creed 1 and 2.
Okay.
Do you remember the first time you ever watched the Rocky movie?
I don't honestly. I think Rocky is just one of those things that's always been there in my life. A strong chance it was probably watching it with my grandfather because my grandfather had a whole bunch of VHSs and stuff like that when I was a kid. And during the summer when I was forced to stay with him, God, that sucked. That's all we would do is we would watch old VHSs of stuff and sit in an uncomfortably hot plastic chair because my grandparents live in Puerto Rico, and the house that they are still in, to their credit, they are still there, does not have air conditioning. It sucked balls.
And then everything's wrapped in plastic, like grandparents' homes. That's gross. So you get all sweaty, you sit on it, and you slip off of.
And you damn near dehydrate if you fall asleep on the thing.
Oh man, or it's burning hot too, or something, and you just got hot sweat on you.
Oh my God, it sucks.
I'm having bad memories, dude. Flashbacks. I can smell it right now.
Oh, and there was nothing to fucking do else. That's the thing. It wouldn't be so bad, if there was stuff to do or they would take me to do stuff. But it was my grandparents on my father's side of the family, which I hated. I didn't care for them. To this day, there's like no relationship there. And there was not fuck all to do all day. Just sit down and just sweat. Just sit in your own sweat all day.
That always seemed to be Grandpa's house, right? Even my grandparents were like, there was not much to do. They didn't have video games. I remember trying to bring over my Genesis, and it was like, oh, how do I plug this into this giant floor model TV? Like, what the shit? This TV has a record player in it. What's going on? But yeah, I remember, man. Like, I remember Rocky. My dad had me watch it. I think it was Rocky 2 was the first one I saw, and it was weird. I went back and I was like, oh, here he is, younger a little bit.
Yeah.
But one thing that's always surprised me, and it's still like something that people don't give enough credit, is that Sylvester Stallone wrote these movies, or at least
Yes,
he wrote the first one, right? So
yeah. I think
that's
he directed.
impressive. Like for just as a nobody, just coming out with a smash hit, like as your first attempt at doing like a screenplay, like that is nuts.
I think he directed the first one too, if I'm not
Did he
mistaken.
too? Okay, so that it's incredible that he's not a joke. People see him as a joke for some reason. It's like, no, man, like he did Rocky, he did First Blood. Like these are not stupid movies for stupid people. You know, like he did them. He directed it. He wrote it. Like those are his films.
Yeah, I think Stallone, unfortunately, people forget Stallone has actually won. I think he won an Oscar for Rocky, if I'm not mistaken. So Stallone has won multiple awards for his acting and stuff like that. And when he turns it on and he's not being the action movie star guy, he can actually deliver a really solid performance, and he actually does really well. He did Copland, which was really good. He's done, the Creed movies and stuff like that, where it finally allowed him to play his age, and he's not trying to run around with the fucking Expendables.
Oh, it's also it shows him as like a father figure because he didn't get a chance to really be a dad in the Rocky movies, because he was hurt or always like, he lost his mind for a while, the character, all the brain damage, all the CTE he got, and then all that. So you got to see him being like a father figure to this guy.
Yeah, I heard he's really good in that new show Tulsa King. I heard that's pretty good. I gotta sit down and watch.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's on I think Peacock or something like that.
Okay.
But it's he plays like a guy that went to jail and now he's back out of jail after 20 years and stuff like that. I've heard he's pretty good in it.
I saw Stallone once at a tattoo convention.
Really?
Yeah, he was going around like shopping around for leather belts and like looking at tattoos and stuff, right? But he's a little guy, like he's like 5'6" or something like that.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, but he walks around with like massive security guards, like 2 in the front of him, 2 in the back of him. Like he's surrounded by security guards, and he's just in the middle, So you can kind of see him, but you can't go up to him or anything like that, right? So, but still, it's crazy because he's like 2 in the front, 2 in the back. I want to say maybe 2 even on the sides. Like I don't know if it was a 6-man team or a 4-man team, but he goes around with security guards.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you see all these actors and movie stars and stuff like that on TV, and then you see them in real person. Like I saw a wrestler, his name is Braun Strowman, and I had always seen him on TV, and I was at MegaCon one year. He was just casually walking by with his family and stuff like that. And nobody said shit to him because the guy's like 6'7" or something ridiculous like that, 300 something pounds. And I'm just like, holy shit, you're a lot bigger in real life.
I met Jeep Swanson, the guy that played Bane in Batman and Robin, at a comic book convention, and he was a massive motherfucker. That dude was huge, dude. Yeah. Like he was huge. So yeah, I know you because people look different on TV a little bit, and then you see them in real life. Like, oh, you're really tiny, or you're a lot bigger than I thought you were. But anyways, so let's start off here with the original, the game starter, the first Rocky movie.
I think you'd be doing it a disservice if this wasn't an S. Honestly, it's the one that started it all. It literally started Stallone's career. It's a game changer for him.
Yeah, there's no doubt that is S tier. That's a greatest movie of all time. Is the first Rocky film, 100%. One of the greatest movies of all time of the last 40, 50 years, if not more. Like of all cinema, it's top notch. It's also an interesting movie because he's the hero, right? It's Rocky the hero. You get to kind of follow him in his life and through his relationship and his training and his hard work and his effort with Mickey for this big fight, and he loses. How often have you ever seen like the protagonist lose in a movie or the good guy lose, right?
Yeah, it's the underdog story,
Mm-hmm. The underdog story that there's no like ugly swan, or ugly duckling that turns into a swan. Sorry, you lost. You fucking lost. And that sucked, but man, what a great, it's still a great movie. It's still a great journey. It's still a great story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Tasty Melons, yeah, he's all about the S tier on that too. Is that Jesse in a quesadilla? That's hilarious. All right. Next one up, we'll just go down the row. Rocky number dos.
It's not as good as the original, I would say. It's not bad. I think B. I put it as a B.
Okay, I was gonna say A,
Mm.
but yeah, we can make it a B. I think B works.
Yeah, this is the one where he actually wins the championship. He gets his rematch against Apollo Creed, aka Carl Weathers. We get.
See, that's because I saw this one first. I always thought Rocky won.
I had the same mindset as you growing up. I was like, okay, so Rocky wins. Obviously, the Rocky wins the first movie. Of course he does.
Yeah, he's the good guy, right? He's the baby face.
He has to win. And this is also kind of the breaking off point where after this is we start getting the villain of the week movie. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like they have to top themselves. So we're gonna start bringing kind of caricatures and larger than life villains and stuff like that for Rocky to beat and everything. And it wasn't bad. It was, I will say, my favorite Rocky movie is one down the list, and I know it's not everybody's, but it's my favorite one because it's super fun.
Okay, well, we'll be getting to that one soon then, so we'll see. No, but yeah, I just like the idea that one of my favorite things about this movie is the very end where him and Apollo they're buddies now. They all became friends after this, right?
Yeah.
And there's that end where they both throw the punch when they're doing that kind of spar at the end of the movie after the fight and everything. And they do that crazy like spar and they do that one swing and it just freeze frames it. There's something about that just always stuck in my memory. Like I can always that image lives in my head rent free, like all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up to bat, good old. Speaking of villain of the week kind of thing, this is was this the world's first introduction into Mr. T?
I don't know. I mean, was he on the A-Team before that?
I think this is before the A-Team.
No, was it?
No, I have no idea. Maybe someone in the chat can figure it out.
Where would you put it?
That to me is so. I think Rocky 2 is an A, and I would say this is a B.
Okay,
I think that's a B. Just because again, it's more of a Clubber Lang story. There's a lot of Clubber Lang in it, which isn't a bad thing. It's Mr. T, and he's amazing in it and stuff like that. And you get Hulk Hogan at the beginning of it too.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
And that's the thing. It shows a fighter's kind of like gradual change, right? So now he's kind of become like a celebrity. So he's doing like these wrestling events and stuff like that, and Hulk Hogan chucks him into the crowd and cool stuff like that. And then he has to fight his way back up to being like a serious fighter again and to be taken serious. So it's a comeback story, but it's just there's something about it that just doesn't fit.
Yeah, Clubber Lang fucks him up in this movie really badly. Because if you remember, so Clubber Lang just shows up out of nowhere, challenges him because he's been going through the ranks and stuff like that. And then Rocky's having this press conference, and Rocky's like, "I'm not gonna fight you, whatever." And then he starts talking to Adrian. Hey, woman. Hey, woman.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to him. You're talking to me.
He's like, hey, woman.
Yeah.
I bet you stay up all night dreaming of a real man like me, or something like that. And then Rocky's like, you want to fight? You got it, pal. And then he fights him, and he gets his ass beat for like 12 rounds by Clubber Lang.
Oh, he's just taking like the biggest haymakers. He's just rope-a-doping him the whole time.
Yeah, and it should be said, if there's one thing about these Rocky movies, especially the early ones, once we start getting to Creed and stuff like that, everybody's just taking haymakers. Nobody fucking blocks these movies. Like every single person in the Rocky universe should have CTE.
Yeah, it's like nobody fights like that. That's not how you fight. You don't hold you can't hold the guy by his shoulders and punch him. That kind of stuff. Like nobody swings all the way here from Maine and then goes all the way across. Like that's not how this works.
It's like they're fun. They are what they are. They're fun movies for entertainment. But if any boxer were to actually fight like that,
he'd be murdered, dude.
Yeah,
they wouldn't let him stay in the ring for safety issues. You'd just be getting hammered. But it's a movie, right? And
Yeah.
there's nothing fun about 12 rounds. Like when we watch wrestling not wrestling, excuse me, we watch boxing these days, especially like a Mayweather fight where you just kind of dancing around the whole time and it's all very technical, This is back in the day where it's like these were real boxers. This is like it was this, and then you had fucking Mike Tyson, right?
Oh my God, Mike Tyson, Jesus.
Yeah,
Mike Tyson was fucking terrifying.
yeah, and that was boxing to me. It was like big, crazy, just gladiators just killing each other, right?
Yeah, no,
and that's kind of like what these movies were, and these are some of the best like boxing matches that you can see filmed.
You would pay for a Mike Tyson fight, and you were paying for an execution. That's really what you were paying, because Tyson would knock these people out within 3 fucking minutes.
That's what I'm saying. You'd be paying all this money, and the match would last 30 seconds. Not too many people ever made it more than like one round on Tyson.
I think I've heard this story about how you would be sitting in your locker room. You're getting bandaged up, you're getting ready, and all of a sudden you just hear bah, 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 the wall behind you, and it's Mike Tyson hitting the wall with his gloves.
Yeah.
Do you know what that does to you mentally? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
dude?
he was an intimidating guy. He was always be like, "I'm gonna eat your kids," or "My goal is to punch somebody in the nose and break it so it goes into their brain and kills them in the ring," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like he was a maniac, dude. He even says it. Like he was like, "I was just a scared kid and I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just, he was 19, 20 when he became champion of the world.
Something
when you're the baddest, meanest, scariest motherfucker at 20 years old. Like, how does that has to change you, right? That makes you a different person and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard he's actually a really sweet guy now, though.
I listen to his podcast. I see him on things. He seems very down to earth. Just don't try to mess with him on an airplane or something, right? So
fucking idiot, man. Have you seen him hit the bag recently?
Oh, dude, he's an old tiger is still a tiger, right? Yeah. Like he's still a monster. Like I remember he was on Joe Rogan. He's like, "No, I don't want to box anymore because that's just gonna wake up that spirit in me," right? And then he ends up doing it anyways, and it's like, yeah, this guy's scary still. He's still scary. He might talk funny, and he might be like, have like a collection of carrier pigeons and stuff like that. But he's the most intimidating person.
Still scary. Yeah,
he's still a monster, man. Yeah, he might be a big stoner now, but he's still scary, dude. All right. So Rocky 4, which favorite. Is okay. And I was about to say this is my favorite too. S. I love Rocky 4. S.
S. I fucking love Rocky 4.
I don't. Okay. I'm not going to fight that. I do love Rocky 4.
We get the introduction of my favorite Rocky villain, Ivan Drago.
Drago in this, man. He's a maniac, dude. Like this is it's another like comeback story. Like he's basically retired and stuff like that. But it's such a crazy movie because you're watching it and it's like again, this is kind of like a Cold War kind of thing where it's America versus the Russians, and this big Russian is cheating and he's using steroids and he's using the most up-to-date technology for boxing and for training. And then you got Rocky, who's cutting trees, as his training. But just that whole scene where he's like, that whole fight with Apollo Creed and Drago is just one of the most horrific and incredible like movie scenes, I think.
Yeah.
I'll never forget seeing him die and Rocky holding the towel and like, something freezes and you can't throw it in. And Drago's just like, if he dies, he dies. No big deal. And he just dies in his arms, dude. Like,
yeah. If he does, he does. And he kills him right fucking there. Like,
yeah. Just takes him out, dude.
Me watching it for the first time, I was like, holy shit, he killed Apollo Creed. He destroyed Apollo Creed. What the fuck?
And Dolph Lundgren's a crazy motherfucker too. He's like the one that he got like 35 degrees. Like he's a massive scientist and stuff.
I think he's like a chemical. He has like a doctor or some shit in chemical engineering. He's a black belt, I think, in Taekwondo. No, he's the real fucking deal.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren is the real deal. Don't let the Russian accent and stuff. The dude's really smart and could probably whoop your ass even today.
Yeah. Don't fool him for playing silly characters in like Universal Soldier or something.
So he's the real deal. No, I unabashedly fucking love this movie. This is probably the one that I've seen the most. it is really weird. Like it is very much, like you said, a Cold War movie where it's very much America. Yeah, you know, we won the Cold War because Rocky beat Ivan
Those
Drago.
commies.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, but this is still, it's so much fun. Honest, you get a montage, and then the montage ends. The training montage ends, and then 2 seconds later, you get a second training montage that keeps the original training montage going with one of the best Rocky songs for me, "Hearts on Fire."
Yeah.
Which is just, oh, so good.
This is just
So
such a good
good.
character movie too, because this is the one where like Rocky sees yet again like one of the most closest people to him. He saw Mick die, and then he sees Apollo Creed killed in front of him.
Yep.
This is the one where he starts getting shaky in the showers. This is the one that this is the origin of like the brain damage, of course, because he just takes it. He just takes every punch, dude. Like there's no like I'm not flinching. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear you down. That's all I can do is just wear you down before I can get to you, Drago.
Yeah.
And it affects him for the rest of the character's life, right?
Yeah.
And this is that movie that has that turning point, I think.
Yeah, it's I think Omar in the chat, or was it you in the chat that mentioned Dolph Lundgren hit Stallone so hard it really fucked him up while they were filming this movie.
I can believe it, man. Things happen, dude. We'll talk about more maybe with Creed, but there's that video going around where Michael B. Jordan just got put to sleep during training.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Yeah. So Tasty Melon says he met Dolph Lundgren and he signed a boxing glove and he put on there, "I must break you."
That's fantastic.
That's awesome. That is so fun. That's so fun.
We have Brigitte Nielsen in this as the love interest of Ivan Drago.
Well, yeah, she was married to Stallone at the time.
Was she? Oh, she was.
Yeah, she was married to Stallone, right. And she was like Red Sonja, and like she was a big star, dude. Oops.
Yeah, that wasn't them. I still have not seen the Stallone cut. Apparently, the Stallone cut gets rid of the robot and a bunch of other shit.
Oh, the robot was awesome, dude. As a kid, I loved that robot.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that. Apparently, it gets rid of a lot of stuff. I'm looking forward to the 4K disc that's coming out in a few weeks or a few months because it's going to have the original cut and the Stallone cut on it.
Okay. I'll watch it twice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was the same way. This is the one I probably watched the most for some reason. This is the one I was always, I think it was like the only VHS I had in the house of Rocky. Yeah. But yeah, 4 is my favorite for sure. Love 4. All right. Speaking of favorites, now let's move on to Rocky 5.
It's barely a Rocky movie, right? I mean, there's no big boxing match at the end. It's
a street fight. It's a street fight between him and Machine Gun Kelly, right? Or Machine Gun.
Oh, I forgot the name of it. He was a boxer. I forgot his name.
Yeah. No, I think his name was actually the Machine, and then I think they changed it to Machine Gun. Tommy Gun. That's what it was. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I was close. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the one I've seen the least. I really didn't care for this one. I think this is when he started to be like, "Yeah, I'm about to retire" or something. Like, I don't do it anymore, or something like that, right? I haven't seen this one.
Yeah, because I think this is the one where he started opening up a restaurant and stuff like that. He was already retired. He was being like a family man. I mean, he can't fight anymore. Like this, he's completely just brain damaged at this point. So he has to take it easy and stuff like that. But he brings on Tommy, right, and trains him and stuff like that. And it's more of a Tommy movie. But yeah, it's like you said, it's really not. It's a street fight outside of the diner kind of thing is all it is, and it's hey, I brought you up, and now you left me, you outgrew me, and now you want to fight me because I'm still the champ, and you can't really feel like the champ unless you beat me. But I got brain damage, so what are you gonna do, right? So, we said this in the green room before we started. There's really no bad Rocky movies. There's some that aren't good, and this is like one of the only ones that's not good.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like a C for this one.
Yeah. No, I think a C is fair, honestly. There's little bits and pieces of it that I think are okay, but for the most part, sorry.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think it's okay. It is what it is. It's largely ignored in the canon, though, right? They kind of just gloss over it every time they bring. They kept they kept the brain damage stuff for the most part, but they glossed over a lot of the other stuff.
But besides that, there's nothing in this movie that connects it to the rest of the movies, right? They never talk about. I don't think they ever really bring up Tommy again or any of this kind of stuff. Tasty Melon apparently hates Rocky's kid in the movies.
So annoying. So annoying.
That was his real son, though, wasn't it? Wasn't it Stallone's real son at one point? I think the actor was actually his real son.
I don't know.
All right. So I'm gonna leave you up to this one because Balboa. I've never seen Balboa.
What?
I totally forgot about this movie until I just saw it right now on the list.
What?
Yeah, I never saw Balboa.
Oh, dude. Yeah, no, Balboa is an A.
Is it?
Yeah, no, Balboa is an A. This what was it? Hold on. When was it that this came out? 2007?
Maybe. I'll double check. I want to say it was later, like 2010, maybe.
I think I was in high school when this came out.
I type in Balboa and it brings up stupid Balboa Parker and idiots. 2006.
2006. Okay, so I was in high school when this came out. Yeah, this so this was Stallone coming back and going, yeah, I still got one last fight in me. You know, it's the traditional story where he's like, yeah, I want to fight one more time. You know, I haven't given it quite up yet and stuff like that. But at this point, he's older. Adrian has died, and he is just not quite ready to move on and accept that. You get arguably the greatest moment in the Rocky franchise with this, where it's the whole, I'm sure 1,000 of you have seen the motivational videos and stuff like that, where you get the conversation where he's speaking with his son and he's talking about how he held him and everything like that. And somewhere along the way, you know, you let people stick a finger in your face. It's a huge, huge moment. And I think arguably probably the greatest moment in the Rocky franchise is that.
Okay.
It's the same thing again. It kind of repeats some of the same beats of the first movie, because you get to the end and he does get his boxing match. He doesn't really win, but it's an emotional victory because he went all the way and he really hurt the guy and stuff like that. It's a good movie.
He didn't win, but he didn't really lose terribly. Kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it's great. It's honestly, you really should check this one out. This was a really good movie.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it. I don't know why it missed me in 2006. I don't know why.
Yeah,
because at then he did like that one Rambo movie too right after this one too. I thought before it. Like he was going back to the well on these movies.
Yeah, that was
same with Rambo. I don't think I saw the newest Rambo. The last one I saw was the one around this era where he's like a fisherman in like Vietnam or something.
Just keep that one in your mind. Don't watch the new.
Don't watch the new one. Okay.
That was terrible. The new one was horrible.
That one that I'm talking about, I forgot the name of it, the tagline for it, but it's like one of the most crazy violent movies. Like people getting blown up by like you legitimately see them get shot with like machine gun and blowing pieces off of them, guys running after grenades and stuff like that. Like movie was crazy.
It is a movie that I don't think would get made today, because you would have so many people pissing and moaning online. Oh my God, how could you do this stuff? Dude, there is literally a scene where a guy, a bad guy's evil because he's putting his shoulder on a child's back and he's escorting the child back to his room. And you can guess where this scene is going.
Yeah.
It doesn't show you anything, obviously, but you put 2 and 2 together, you get 4. And so it gives you a reason why you're like, yeah, I want John Rambo just to go through this whole village of evil motherfuckers and blow them away with a chain gun. I fucking love that last Rambo movie. Honestly, I think it was a perfect send-off to the character. And I do not acknowledge the one that came out about 2 years ago.
I like that last one because I remember after it came out, it became this internet meme where they took away all the machine guns. So he's always doing like these thumbs ups and stuff, and he's doing that chain gun scene.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that movie so much. It's such a fun movie.
All right, so that's the end of the original Rocky films.
Right.
And then we got this like
Creed.
What would you call it? A spin-off? Like,
it's not a reboot.
No.
Yeah, it's a spin-off. It's a spin-off series because it still has Rocky in it, and we got Creed.
I'm gonna say that the first Creed here, for me, it's S. It's it's almost perfect, I think.
Yeah, no, I
I
agree.
love this first movie where it's like, can they really do this with, with Rocky not being in the movie or not being like the star, right? Can they really do it? Can Apollo Creed's illegitimate son
Yeah,
like carry this movie? Can Michael B. Jordan really carry this movie? And I feel like an idiot for even thinking that, because this is one of the more Rocky's full of touching moments. Like, it's very well crafted with characters, but just the fact of seeing Donnie,
Yeah,
yeah, growing up without his dad and going through like foster home after foster home, and like um and then him growing up in that manner and getting into fights and stuff like that, and then of all people, like Creed's wife, not his mom, because she Donnie is a
he's a
illegitimate kid
bastard.
from some other random person or something like that, right?
He's a bastard.
Yeah, he's a bastard kid, right? But he has the gift. He has Apollo's gift of boxing and the love for it and the passion and just that X factor that you have that is very special. And she brings him in. She brings in his her husband's illegitimate bastard child that he cheated on her with and created, right? But she still brings him in and raises him. And it's stuff like that that just has those really special, caring moments. And it's him just growing up and him meeting Tessa Thompson, and that relationship with her, and just him just doing trying to not be his dad, but trying to be his dad, but not not being his shadow and not be known as Apollo Creed's son, right?
Right.
And then he just kind of accepts it at one point. Like he just kind of comes to that realization of it and accepts it, and just it's such a great movie.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I remember when they first announced this, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. They're going back to the well on this.
Just leave Rocky alone. He was done. Yeah.
No. And then watching this movie in theaters, going, holy shit, they actually really pulled this off, and it works really well. The whole concept of because Apollo was always the more flashy one of the two between Rocky and Apollo, and it kind of makes sense that he seemed like the party type. So it does make sense that he would have the possibility of him having an illegitimate child out there. It could happen.
I mean, come on, a mega superstar celebrity athlete. Yeah, of course.
And so bringing in Adonis, introducing his character and building him up, and you see how he's a kid it follows very similar, very kind of tropey beats where it's like, okay, obviously he's a kid. He grew up on the streets. He's had a hard life. He's got a lot of anger towards his father and a lot of resentment, and he's in his father's shadow. How does he kind of break away from that and stuff like that? And he eventually does. I really love Creed. I think Creed is fantastic. This was Ryan Coogler, who went on to direct Black Panther. And we see that Coogler from his first movie, I think Fruitvale Station, showed that he's just an awesome director. And
well, he wrote this movie as like a fan, like a fanfic. Right?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. So amazing, right?
Yeah,
it's just some fanfic that he did in class or something like that, if I remember right.
Something along the lines of
he did like in film school or something. So
and honestly, it just works. It's a great story through and through. It hits a lot of the same beats. I would argue that this movie is also carried a lot by Stallone and his performance in here. I think Stallone got an Oscar nom for this as well. He might have won for this one. Where Stallone, this is the first time we see Stallone finally play his age.
Yeah.
He finally played his age, where he's an older guy. He's accepting that, it's done. He gets diagnosed with cancer, which is a heartbreaking moment, man. Yeah, this was great. This is fantastic.
Yeah, no, now that you said that, yeah, that's right. With Stallone, he actually gets to play Rocky like as a normal person. Like he's just some guy that runs a restaurant, right? But he's like one of the greatest fighters, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and that's all he cares about. He just wants to like cut tomatoes and run his restaurant and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, the most recent is Creed 2, which was, I mean, we talked about Rocky 4 being our favorite movie. This is basically a sequel to Rocky 4 because it's Apollo Creed's son versus Drago's son. And at the same time, it's Rocky versus Drago, not in a fight, but with them kind of competing their fighters and their own little kind of animosity towards one another and stuff as well because of what happened in Rocky 4. So it's basically a sequel to Rocky 4.
Yeah. This one was a little bit disappointing to me, especially coming off the highs of Creed, simply because of the fact that I think the more interesting story here is the Drago stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because he's being raised by his dad to be a boxer this entire time. Like Drago's just pushing him since he was a kid.
Right. And he's being raised in Russia, and he is now looked at as a failure. What would that be like? There's a lot to explore there of what would that be like? Your father is raising you. He's looked at as a failure from your whole country. It's clear Drago might have a drinking problem and stuff like that in the movie. Drago's son is extremely mad. There is a lot that they could work with there. And I think this would have benefited from being its own film where you would have Creed, then you do a Drago movie, and then you would have Creed 2, where it would be Creed versus Drago. So you get to flesh out more of that character, more of Dolph Lundgren and stuff like that. So that way, when eventually in the third movie you do come back to it and they both kind of go head to head, it's like, oh shit, there are actual real stakes here. Who's gonna fucking win this?
Yeah, and then there's a lot. Not that it's a bad thing, but a lot of time is taken up with Donnie and his family.
Yeah,
because they're having they have their first kid and it's born deaf. His wife is having a really great musical career, but she's losing her hearing more and more and more. Right, like that's it's going away for her, and there's really nothing to do to fix that. But yeah, I think it's an A. It's a step down. It's not an S, but I don't think it's like like a C or a D or anything like that. I think
no.
I think it's a lot more personal of a movie. With him having it's parents and their kids, right?
Yeah,
it's Drago raising his son to kind of do what he couldn't do, right? To live in the limelight and kind of live vicariously through his kid. And then it's Donnie, I forgot his wife's name in the movie, but and their kid and them going through that kind of shock and experience of somebody being born with a disability. And maybe it's just me and my experience in life, but that was a lot more touching for me than the rest of the movie. It really was that. And it took up a lot of the movie.
Yeah, it did.
Not a bad thing, but it's just like, oh man, I wish I would have done a little bit more of with Adonis, because he does lose, right? And then he got to go through that really weird,
not only loses.
Oh, he gets wrecked, right?
It's almost murdered in that, because they fight twice in the movie.
Yeah, because I remember he has to go to that weird camp in the middle of Mexico or something like that.
He goes to
back to the ground level of training and not just technology, right?
Right, he goes to the middle of Mexico nowhere in a desert, and he fights a bunch of cholos.
Yeah,
for 6 weeks, and that's really his training. But he gets fucking wrecked at the beginning of the movie. I mean, he is pissing blood.
Yeah,
towards the middle of the movie and stuff like that. It's solid. It's fun. It's not a bad movie by any.
It's not as good as Creed, but Creed is just like it's a high watermark. That's really hard to touch. It's really hard to do a sequel for something like that. It
really is.
Dude, tell me that freaking Michael B. Jordan's not just a shredded motherfucker through these movies.
Oh,
dude.
Jesus Christ!
And you look at Kang, that motherfucker for Creed 3.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Who are the trainers on these films? They're getting these dudes just shredded.
He is going to fuck Creed up. That is Kang.
He's going to fuck up Ant-Man and the multiverse and then come and bitch slap Donnie. He's going to wreck Adonis.
I know you haven't seen the Ant-Man trailer, so I won't ruin anything for you for it. But I will say, he goes hand to hand. He's not, I'm going to use a laser beam or anything like that. He is hand to hand fucking people up in that trailer.
I can't wait to see that movie, dude. I already asked for the day off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Creed 2, what do you got it at?
You know what? I give it a B. Honestly, yeah.
I'm good with B.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just I see the potential of what this could have been. If I really wish that they would have gotten that drag. I know there's been talk recently about doing a Drago spinoff, and Stallone was kind of pissed at that. He's like, "Oh, you shouldn't do a Drago spinoff without talking to me, because And
that's actually really good.
Thank you. And Stallone was kind of pissed at that, but I'm like, there genuinely is a good story here that if they work with it, I think it could be really, really something special.
Yeah, I think it just maybe I had higher expectations for it, and that hurt it for me because I was really like, oh, dude, it's Drago's kid, and and they're really just gonna go at it, and it's gonna be this whole thing, and you got bits. Drago was set up as almost like a serial killer, like he wasn't really in it. You see him train and his relationship with his dad, and what he needs to do to kind of bring the family's name back into the limelight, whatever nonsense, right? But that's really it. Like his only motivation is I want to impress my daddy, right? And I would like to have seen that be a little bit more fleshed out and make that not so one dimensional.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll see where it goes. We'll see. Hopefully we get that spinoff movie. Like there's been rumors of it for a while.
Oh, dude, I mean, there's no bad. Like I don't even know why there's even a D on this list because there's nothing worse than a C on this in this film franchise. I don't think there ever will be. This is a magical series. I think now that I think about it, it's so good.
Yeah, although now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think we'll get a spinoff movie because everything that's going on in Russia right now,
we don't.
I'm not gonna go see anything about them terrorists.
Oh no, poor Ukraine. Yeah. So that's our list. We can probably start winding this down. We're a little over an hour. So thanks everybody for showing up. Here's our list of our ranking for Rocky movies. And for the people who might be listening to us on an audio podcast, I'll just read this off so you guys get an idea of where we put these films since you can't see it. S tier, which is like the top of the top. This is like God tier films. We got the first Rocky, we got Rocky 4, Rocky versus Russia, and Creed 1. A tier is Balboa, which I haven't seen, but Lou said it was fantastic.
That's great.
B seems to have the larger grouping of films, which is with Rocky 2, Rocky 3, and Creed 2. And the lowest on the list in the tier C is Rocky 5, which isn't that bad. A C is like a 60. So yeah, that's not too bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah. So that's our list. Let us know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Would you put these things in different orders? Let us know. Also, let us know if you want us to do more rankings. This is fun. This is always
fun.
Yeah, this is fun to discuss. I wish Gio was here. I like it better when it's 3 of us, so it's easier to be like, oh, it's 2 versus 1 on the rankings or something. But
yeah,
I know he's busy. He's had stuff going on with him. But yeah. So, all right, man, you ready to cut out?
Yeah, I gotta get
all
going.
Right. That's anybody got. Yeah. So everybody, again, thank you all for joining us here on Omnibros Live. But first, our last little send-off on this wonderful little show of instocktrades.com. Nope, not our email address. So get your omnibuses, trade paperback, collected editions, absolutes. Get your slipcase, hardcover, spawns, whatever. All your best and favorite titles. Make sure instocktrades.com is your first visit to find your collected edition needs. Do not pay cover price for your books. Go to instocktrades.com where you can get up to 50% off. There's a 2% loyalty discount. You make an order, boom, your next order 2% off. So you can use that, raise up that discount, keep that going week after week after week. Omnibros Live is sponsored by InStock Trades. They also give us a $50 gift card that we give away to one lucky winner on the last Monday of every month's show. So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss out on any of our videos, especially that last Monday episode. Free shipping on orders in the United States that are $50 or more. The best packaging, like this is the watermark, the gold standard for packaging, comes from instocktrades.com. Thank you very much for sponsoring us. We appreciate that. They've been sponsoring us forever. So great to have them around with that. And then also, everybody, make sure you follow us here on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Lou, where can people find you at?
Find me on Twitter at Comics Guide 101 and on YouTube at Comics Guide 101, where there's an archive of old videos.
Hell yeah. And everybody, you can find me, Gabe Loves 90s Comics, on Instagram. You can find my old videos on YouTube. I don't make videos much anymore, but you can always find good stuff on there, like how to fix the binding on your omnibus that's fallen apart. But yeah, so hit us up there. Everybody, again, thanks so much for joining in. We'll be back Thursday is the next episode. That's going to be the manga show with Riley and Gio, and I forget the other person's name that they have on. Colleen, I believe the name is. So you go check it out on that, and then hit us up on Monday, where that will be our weekly review of what's coming out for that week, and you don't want to miss out, so you don't miss out on any cool titles coming out for the week. Again, everybody, thanks again for showing up. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.